Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another installment of Tony's Take. All right, this is going to be an interesting video because I'm pretty sure some of you out there are going to think I'm going to come off as an elitist asshole, but I need to say this shit. This is something I've been saying on Throwdown for years, right? But now it's actually happened, and we just speak about this. So basically, the news has come down that E3 is going to be opening its doors to the public for the first time ever. They're going to have 15,000 tickets for, just regular folks. They're going to cost $250 a piece, and I believe there's going to be like $150 special tickets or whatever, right? Okay, so there's a bunch of details. I'll link it in the description below. This is from GameSpot. I don't want to get into all that shit. I need to talk about first why this is a good thing, then of course why I think this is a bad thing, but I'm also gonna explain a solution to all this. They're probably not gonna implement it this year, but it's a solution nonetheless, because yeah, I could just come on here and start complaining, but it's always better to give you my complaint and then give you a proper solution for it. All right, so why is it a good idea to open up E3 to the public? I mean, it seems pretty obvious on the surface, right? You get regular folks to go in there and play games that they would have to wait months, maybe even years for, right? Basically, E3, it could be argued that it's been shrinking in the last few years. I mean, we've seen a bunch of companies like Activision and EA and a few others just like back out of the convention, altogether, right? So I guess bringing in fans is a good way of, boosting it and making it more popular or whatever, even though it's not really supposed to be a popular thing, it's always been a trade show. But at the same time, the world of, gaming coverage has changed dramatically, even in just the 5 years I've been doing it, right? When I first got in here, it was journalists and fans, and that's it. But now we have fans making videos on YouTube and stuff, and they're becoming big enough where they're allowed to go to E3, right? And these video game companies, they see them as, okay, this is the part I'm trying to choose my words correctly. They're a little bit easier to, I really don't know how to pick a softer word. They're easier to manipulate. Let's just be honest, right? A proper journalist, right? We get shit like swag and all this other stuff all the time, right? Get flown to, events, get wine and dine, special review events, all this other stuff, right? But despite all of that, we're supposed to have a strict separation, right? Okay, we understand you're giving us all this free stuff to butter us up, but at the same time, we still got to give you a fair assessment of the game, right? That's a traditional journalist. These YouTube guys, right? Completely different story. They're easier to, if you give these guys all this other stuff, they're more likely to actually give, games a more favorable review. Again, they don't have to adhere to any codes of conduct or anything. And I'm not saying all these guys do that, but it's just easier for them to do it. I know I'm sounding like a dick right now, but it's just the truth, right? It's a lot easier to sway their opinions of these guys, right? But the companies, they don't care about that. They want that. They want, they'd rather have a guy on YouTube who has a few 100,000 hits, maybe a few million subscribers, not hits, subscribers, who has a few million subscribers, tweeting out, dude, For Honor is awesome, man, check it out, instead of a journalist telling you, both sides of the story, right? Again, just to be honest, these companies don't really care about both sides of the story. They want to sell you some shit, right? So again, I don't really know what to call these people, but they call them influencers now, right? But these YouTube guys or whatever, these guys that are even not even on the same level as independent journalists like me, right? Like me, I've been on a bunch of independent sites and stuff, but even though I've mostly done this for free, right, I still adhere to the same journalistic principles that everybody else has established, right? These guys don't do that. They're on a whole other level, and they're just a lot easier for these companies to, sway their opinions. So I understand why E3 is going this way, right? And again, for just a regular person, I'm not even talking about those YouTube guys. I'm talking about just a regular dude, right? This is actually a pretty cool thing because, hey, they get to go to E3, the biggest, I was going to say the biggest trade show. It's not even a trade show anymore. It's like the biggest gaming convention now since it's being opened up to the public. They get to go there and they get to play all these games. So from that standpoint, I totally see it, right? Now, I got to talk about this as a journalist, and this is the part where I'm probably going to get in trouble, but I'm just going to be real with it, right? Okay, when I went to my first E3 during 2013, right, I didn't have this, again, this was my very first E3. I didn't have any appointments, right? it was still very easy for me to go to any booth and play games. Why? Everybody else there was a journalist too. They, they went there, they played their games, they did their thing, and they bounced, right? And I've noticed that as the years have gone, I'm talking about 2014, 2015, last year, they've invited more and more fans, and every time that's happened, it's gotten even harder and harder for me to do my job. I'll give you an example, right? One year, I believe it was 2014, I had an appointment with Ubisoft, right? In about 2 hours, I was able to play 6 games, right? All appointments, and all that time was spent literally playing games, right? It was, it was good. Next year, 2015, this is one of the years where they opened up a little bit more, right? I had to wait around for almost 3 hours. I only got to play 2 games. I had an appointment at Ubisoft, and I'm like, hey, I have an appointment. Why can't you just, cut me, through a line? It's like, oh no, we can't do that now. It's like, okay, that's kind of crazy. And then one time with Activision, I had an appointment with Activision, right? This was 2015 again, right? Not only did I have to wait on a line, something I didn't have to do for Activision just the year before that. They took me to every single game I needed to do, right? I had, not only did I have to wait on the line, but my time was limited to like 5 minutes because they had to get more people to play the games. Mike, okay, and I know, I'm sounding like, oh, you don't get to play games. No, you got to understand something. I'm going to E3 so I could do this for you guys, so I could tell you guys about the games, right? I'm not doing this just for my own pleasure. Don't get me wrong, I have fun at E3, right? But I'm going there to work, right? And that work is being compromised by the fact that I have to wait in line. And I'm not just speaking about me, right? I'm talking about every other like independent type journalist, right? Basically any journalist under IGN, Polygon, GameSpot, any guys on that level, right? We're still going there to get a job done, right? But it's going to be more difficult. I'm saying it's going to be more. It has been more difficult because there's been so many fans running around, right? Now, I don't know how the hell we're going to get any work done with, like, all these people. Like, I understand that there's appointments and all that other shit, but appointments only take you so far, right? It's going to be very, very tough. I remember one year, when they started letting in more fans, I was talking to my man, Torrance Davis, right, who helped me get into E3, and I was like, dude, if this keeps going, man, I don't even know if I want to go to E3, right? Things are a little bit different now. I have, a lot more like industry buddies and stuff in other independent journals I know. So for me now, I'm really going to E3 to hang out with my friends because it's gonna get really tough to like play these like games, right? I'm pretty sure. Here's the thing: I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I could play a small game, but even that isn't guaranteed. I remember last year I wanted to play Cuphead and Bloodstain. I got to play them. This was without appointments. Had to wait a long time on lines, because again they had like I believe it was 800 people coming in, right? This is just 800 people. This year, 15,000. This is 15000. It's gonna be brutal, man. So yeah, like I don't know, man. The whole world is just changing now. It's different. I guess I'm just gonna say it. Maybe journalists are becoming like a rare breed now. Maybe these companies don't need us anymore. They YouTubers, influencers, whatever the hell they want to call them. Those are the guys they really seem to like want to attract, right? Guys like us who are actually critical of shit. We don't really serve a purpose anymore. It's kind of fucked up. But that's just the way it is. Like, and it's also going to lower the quality of the reporting. Again, I'm not trying to shit on these guys, but they're not on our level, man. They're not trained journalists. They're, basically fans with YouTube channels. They don't really have any training like we do, So the quality, it's just going to be a bunch of hype, which is, great for the companies, but it's going to be a disservice to any fans that want, actual critical analysis of a game, right? So we'll see, but let's get to the solution part of it. How can you actually resolve this so everybody wins? It's actually really simple. I don't know why they wouldn't do this because again, it's just so easy. I don't know why they do this, but this is what I suggest, right? Okay, Monday through Thursday, the normal days of E3, right? You have it strictly for the press, right? No fans, just the press. That way we can do our job quickly, more efficiently, and we get you guys, the public, actual information, right? Then what you do is on Friday through Sunday, right? This is typically a time when PAX East and all this other stuff happens, right? Then you open it up to the fans. You let them have fun with it, right? Like I understand that the publishers have to keep booths open for like a long time, but they can make a lot of money if they open it up to the fans for those 3 days. Like obviously, if the press wants to hang out and do some more stuff, they can, but those 3 days, That's for the public. You let them have fun, you know, because that way, not only do the journalists get to do their job on the previous days, but then the fans get to go buck wild on the weekends, right? Here's my thing, just in case anybody, was misconstruing what I was saying. I am not against fans being at E3. I actually think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm just against fans being at E3 at the same time journalists are at E3, right? If you could separate the two, you get everybody to win, so that's what should be done. This year, it's just going to be a big mix, so hopefully, when this thing turns into a mess, which I know it will turn into a mess, E3 will consider expanding, its dates to just accommodate specific dates for the fans. The weekend, that would be brilliant. I'm telling you, that will work, but we'll have to see this year. As usual with Throwdown, we're going to bring you our E3 coverage just like we did last year. We brought you podcasts every single night. We plan to do the same thing. How many games we'll be able to play, I have no idea. And yes, I know I work for Geek.com, but even working for a bigger site like that, a Ziff Davis site, it still doesn't guarantee I get to play games, bro. Like, I'm telling you, if you're not on that super IGN level, it's gonna be tough, man. I'm like, obviously, like, I'm thinking about, like, like, oh fuck, dude, I won't be able to play these games, but I'm really doing this video right now for my other fellow, like, gaming journalists that are on my level, you know what I'm saying, the independent guys, or even the guys that are professional like me that make a living off of it, but aren't on that mega level. I'm talking about those guys. It's gonna be very, very difficult. But again, if you separate the two events, you have one for fans, one for press, it'll work, but we'll see what happens. But that's it for this Tony's Take. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Links for all that shit are available below. Just make sure to check us out. Subscribe to the channel. Please hit like on this, and I definitely want you guys to comment. I want to hear from what the regular guys want to say about this shit. Are you excited for E3? You think it's going to be too crazy without so many people? What do you think about the ticket prices? Ticket prices are very interesting. $250, on top of plane tickets and fucking hotels. Woo, that's going to be brutal, man. So that's it. Thank you for checking out this video. I'll see you around next time. Later.